All right. I think we're live. It says we've been live for 16 seconds. We'll let some people show up. But honestly, this is I prefer to do this like a live show. In what I mean by like a live show, meaning with the intention to actually interact with guests as they come in. Not have any specific rails as far as like a scripted show. Hopefully that volume is about right. That's about 14. I'm using evmux currently. This is the first, so welcome to those of you who are watching. The hardest thing I think for any live streaming producer, anyone who is in this industry, to actually wrap their head around it, I'm speaking from real-time right now experience, is the ability to talk to nobody if nobody is there. And at times, that is what you will have to do. That is the game. People watch these things time shifted. People will watch this for the first time, and you are watching it for the first time right now. Probably not in real time as I'm posting this. Ideally, you build an audience who wants to actually do the ride along and ask questions, and that's what I hope to make this available to do, is actually answer questions real time. Maybe even get into the nitty-gritty and help you figure out some solutions, maybe new solutions. Think about things that you haven't considered with the platform that you're using. Maybe there is hardware that you don't know about yet, or there might be something about your software you haven't yet learned. I want to be there to help you guys figure that out. So my name's Christian. I have a video production company in the Chicagoland area called 7 Talents. We are a consultancy that actually specializes in live streaming software as a service streaming, as well as video engineering for live production in a physical on location sense. So, I'm going to be shifting a lot of my attention in this coming year, and I believe from here forward, towards live streaming for the prosumer, for the corporate entities, for those who want to make content, and use these software tools that literally are magically available for all of us right in our browsers. Generally, streaming software as a service tools are not free, or at least not the best feature set comes with the free account. There usually is like a trial account. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this music down here. It's a little much. But I got started in this a few years back, playing with StreamYard, as I believe most people that get into this do find their way into live streaming and creating content and running what they consider to be a podcast. And I don't mean to diminish their efforts when I go to throw the air quotes up and talk about podcasts, but there's a very low barrier to entry to getting into podcasting with applications like StreamYard, with applications like evmux, with applications like Streamlabs and OBS, and they take very technical things. Let me give you an idea, like this kind of technical, and make them very approachable, where the only requirement is a browser and a decent microphone. Now, I say a decent microphone. That's a really interesting thing to bring up. I want to get into the news here on what has happened in the past week or so. But if you learn one thing from any of these streams, in what we are really striving to do is make sure that your content actually has as much reach as it possibly can get, because the amount of reach that you have really equates how much freedom of speech you experience. And I believe a lot of us get into personal projects like this broadcasting, live streaming because we have ideas and messages that we believe need to be out there. We want to exercise our freedom of speech, and at times we hit walls with freedom of speech. Or we see that the powers that be that are reporting news or reporting on things that you care deeply about aren't covering all the bases. And it's very simple to go sign up for an account and think that you're going to fill that gap. And honestly, there's no reason why you can't. I'm not. I do not want to discourage anybody from wanting to be the news, because citizen journalism, I believe, is the future. I actually believe that uh, there's no reason why one person cannot support himself and his family by reporting on the things that are important to them, that there is an audience for that. Um, Everybody has an audience. It is a very, very large world. So anyway, let's get beyond the philosophy here. Let's talk about what's happening currently in streaming in general. It's been a crazy month. I plan to actually do this in much more of a scripted format. It's going to try and do the edit thing, but honestly, that kind of goes against one thing that I want to teach and that I want to espouse, and that is that I believe live streaming is much more powerful than the edited video. I believe that organic video production has a lot more ability to be engaging with audience because it brings authenticity to the table. It brings the opportunity for people to engage and interact like in ways that television could only dream of in the past. Um, so for me to do an edited newscast, I think almost is antithetical to what it is that I hope to inspire all of you to do, to help you to do if you need help doing that. And basically, I believe that's what will change the world is these human connections that we're going to do when we report on things that matter to us. So uh, we have a common denominator. We all like software as a service. If you don't know what the term software as a service means, it basically means that you do not uh, download and install an executable on your computer. The only required software for you to run uh, these tools is a browser. Um, in that world, we have tools such as evmux. We have tools such as Streamlabs. We have StreamYard. We have it's interesting right now. We have Rumble entering the game and producing their own software, which will be a game changer as well, since they are both the software provider and the platform. Um, The only reason I say that that's interesting is that even YouTube, with all of their time in this, I mean, literally being the founders of this entire culture and industry, still to this day haven't developed a studio. Maybe they will do that. Maybe this will inspire them to move forward with that. uh, but I have I have outlined, and I'll go ahead and share this. There's nothing super secret about this. Let me pull a screen share up for you. Um, Bring this into our production. I really this is the least planned. Hopefully, any of these productions will ever be. Let me go into my dynamic scene here, and we will add my screen to this. So, software as a production tools. I see that this is every production tool that I know of, and they're numbered, I believe, by where they're, I believe, going to be ultimately as far as competition goes. For a long time, I have had evmux as the number two, poised to be number three. Uh, Platform for people to produce their own videos on. The OG on the block is StreamYard for sure. They have a wonderful product update page. We're going to be doing our best to take all of this news and aggregate that in a way that is valuable to you. and is centralized on our site at seventalents.com. Still trying to determine the proper URL for that to go on. I have people that I talk to who think that needs to be on its own URL. I have not yet. Um, don't know if I agree that that's what I should be doing just yet. But lots to determine. Uh, so StreamYard being what I believe to be the top used software as a service for live video streaming. Second, it's this platform I'm using right now. It's called evmux. It's a Israeli company that is doing some really aggressive things as far as um, the toolkit that they're doing. I think the best way to describe evmux is that they are a kind of a combination between StreamYard and the tools that you're used to finding in OBS, and that's with their special custom scenes. Actually, StreamYard has been following their lead a little bit. We also have Streamlabs Talk Studio, which is new. Streamlabs got uh, very interesting recently. On May 30th, they purchased Melon, the Melon streaming platform. We're going to be following that. I have not yet logged in and taken a look at the tools, but suffice to say, I was a fan of some of the feature set that Mellon was advertising, specifically being the teleprompter feature. That is something that is now part of Streamlabs. Streamlabs just bought Mellon and rebranded it, and I think brought a lot of polish to it. They have a lot of resources available to them since they are owned by Logitech. That has both positive and negative connotations to it. The only reason I say negative is because you get a lot of um, you get a lot of extra corporate red tape the larger you are. So we're going to see how that affects content creators moving forward. I had Lightstream as number four. Um, no particular order other than just kind of where I think that this is my personal estimation on where they kind of stand together. Lightstream is another one of the platforms we will be reporting on. I think they just sold. I've been following Lightstream from the beginning, mainly because Lightstream has been a company that I met one of the founders of at Comic Con well over a decade ago, and it's a very interesting concept in that really kind of runs like a sys tray application. But the future of Lightstream is fuzzy right now. I don't know if it's going to continue under that name, or if it's going to get rebranded. What's going to happen with it? So big question marks currently in my head about the future of Lightstream. Um, then there's Wave Video. We will be reporting on them. I do have a Wave Video account. We'll dive into their feature set and be comparing them. And as they have updates, we will be reporting the news on Wave Video. And Be Live, don't have a ton of experience with. Put them way back down at about rank number 7. Riverside. If you've been wondering if you've heard of Riverside, Riverside is a interesting toolkit that is really audio first. It is a podcast tool, audio podcast tool before it's ever a video tool. It seems like the video is an afterthought. I'm not saying that it's bad. It's just not a very robust feature set. Um, but we will be reporting on that as they are in that space. Lula, something I've kind of played around with a little bit. We will report on these. You can see my note here. Unabashedly, I say it does have it has a horrible user experience. Zencaster, we're going to be looking into, and then the newest contender on the block hasn't yet been released. It is currently in beta. You have to have an invite. I don't know if my invite. We could try it live in this stream and see if I could get into studio.rumble.com. But that's fascinating. They literally have made a bit of a kind of very basic StreamYard clone in their platform, and it obviously goes directly to Rumble as well as other RTMP destinations. So it is a contender. Um, I don't know what they're charging for it. I don't know what the monetization goals are, other than just to get people to put content on their platform, which isn't a bad strategy. And then X Spaces. That is there actually is a control panel for live streaming. Um, uh, we're going to dive into how to connect Spaces as well, but this is more of a destination. Are they going to have a tool? I don't know yet. I don't know yet. Uh, wouldn't surprise me if they compete in that arena. So I just kind of wanted to give you a landscape. This is the lay of the land. Oh, and there are other tools that we are not going to talk about just yet that are in production. Um, but there is this whole landscape of software as a service that I hope to kind of report on. Uh, as far as the biggest rumblings that have happened in the past week, uh, no pun intended, Rumble has done a lot. We can talk about that a little bit. They are, I believe, any second now going to be dropping uh, an update that will allow static RTMP. If you stream to Rumble at all, you know what that means. You know that that means that um, there's going to be a lot more content coming to Rumble literally in the next week. Um, they are doing some things that they have needed to do uh, with their search engine, so that discoverability of content is going to improve greatly. Uh, that is something that was teased literally um, less than 24 hours ago, uh, and hopefully, I think what we're going to end up doing is we'll have people like Alad join us on this live stream. We'll have people like Rick Rasek, who is the product manager for Rumble, join us on this live stream. Maybe we can get a representative from X to join us. Maybe we can get a representative from StreamYard. Um, but my goal is to kind of like, it's not play the middle. It's understand the industry as a whole. It is its own space at this point, and there's a lot more competition in this space than I think a lot of people realize. So I want you to be as informed as you can be about what tools are available, because we spend on these tools monthly. We have subscriptions. Some of us have annual subscriptions. Some of us subscribe to more than one tool. And I want to make sure that you understand all the tools that are available. Understand who's coming up with what, and not only that, but also understand the platforms that you're streaming to. Understand how they are changing the rules of the game, how they are shaping themselves to be more accommodating to these types of platforms. So it's going to be interesting. So let's dive a little bit into what happened today with evmux. Evmux spent some time and launched a new uh, a new app in their app store, which I've not reported on yet, and I need to report on. So we might as well make this first episode a report. In the past 2 or 3 weeks, um, which it was about 2 weeks ago that I wanted to actually do this for the first time, and we're doing it now in the evmux updates. evmux has launched a kind of an app or API, an app store. And let's take a look at that real quick, and I'll show you exactly what we're talking about. And then we'll talk a little bit about the app that they released today, which was probably one of the largest requests that they had for an app to date. I get the feeling they're going to be revising it very soon based on feedback. So, and also, if you have any questions, please feel free to comment on YouTube, comment on Facebook. I'm live on both. And we will get to those questions, whether in real time or time shifted later on. And we'll address any questions that we can help. I know that there were some people that when evmux does go live, people were asking questions about how to find certain features that they don't really have the time to get to. If you want to join, there is a link on the evmux page. Is the first place that I posted this. We're going to have to start posting this everywhere, but you can become a guest, and I will help you walk through whatever issues you are having with your setup. If you need help getting your setup where it needs to be. Other than that, I will demonstrate the best I can based off of what I recall. So let's take a look at evmux real quick. So um, here is my dashboard. I am not ashamed to share. So let's pop this into scene. So evmux by default drops you into your projects tab. And if we go into a project here, let's just jump into this one here. We'll grab this testing studio and we'll go into the studio here. Hopefully it doesn't kick me out. I think it might. I might not be able to do this. Let me stop. Yeah, I think it might. I think it might. Yeah, sorry. I cannot do that way. I need to do that in a different browser instance in a different memory space. Hold on a second. Let's try doing this with this account. Bear with me. Here we go. Let's just grab my entire window here and add that to the scene. So let's do my personal one here. So if we jump into a studio, I don't think this will kick me because this is not the same studio setting. It's going to look for my webcam here. There we are. Go ahead and enter. So here is the basic behind the scenes studio setup. Let me get rid of that lower third real quick. As far as apps go, let's actually add this to our scene. Transition that over. Let's get rid of the studio mode. So this is how most people run. If you run studio, it just allows you to set your scene that you want to do before you take your transition and then take your transition, which is it's very nice in certain environments, but I think uh, most solo producers don't run that way. They usually run with the studio mode here turned off. But the way that you get into the specialized apps uh, is you'll see over on the left hand side there's something called Pro Scenes. Let me pull that up full screen for you. You have your dynamic scenes. It's interesting the way the evmux has been designed. Is that the dynamic scenes are basically what you already have in StreamYard, right? Um, it is you have these dynamic scene buttons here on the bottom of the screen. You can change how you want to lay your scene out, and those changes all happen in real time. But the thing that evmux brings to the party that's new is what's called pro scenes, which you find directly underneath the dynamic scene. Let me see. You can actually stretch this out. So this is the dynamic scene is up at the top on the left, and as you scroll down, you have all the pro scenes down below it. And these are all custom. They're kind of like Photoshop layers. For instance, I love AI imagery when it draws pictures of hands. But it is a custom tool that just allows you to arrange your scenes in real time. But it's only in the pro scenes that you're going to see layers that allow you to add apps. And the app that was released today was a Bible app. So if you go to add new layer, you'll see that there is an apps and widget layer right here. And in the apps and widgets layer are all these extra web HTML style apps that you can add to your scene. We're going to go ahead and add the new Bible apps that was released today. Now, there's a lot of interesting. I kind of feel like these are first run uh, tools that are hopefully going to improve. I have used the QR code one um, pretty often in a production. It's a fast way of doing that. There's animations that you could add, but we're specifically going to take a look at this Bible scene tool. So we have an animated GIF in the background. I can take this. This is not the picture. That's really an interesting pairing. That photograph, that verse. I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer here. Bring myself up just because I know that's what most of you are watching is the center and is not down. Which direction would it be? Over there in the corner, which is the actual camera that I would be broadcasting to um, on the regular. So I am down here in the corner. Um, but here's the overlay, and it does this animation by default. Once you've got it installed into your scene, you can go into the settings, and then all these settings here on the left pane are related to this app here. So I did see that they could scale and size it, which I like. So someone was asking about lower thirds. You can kind of get a lower third feel to it just by changing the box in which that text renders. Looks like it has a pretty hefty margin, actually. Let's do a larger verse. Let's go to Second Thessalonians 1:3, which there's a lot of variable. It looks like it's going to scale text. I don't know how great that is off the top of my head. Yeah, notice how this text is auto scaling. I think one of the things that we're hoping to see down the road is that this text would be fixed in size, and that you have just maybe overflow or whatever. There's some things there that isn't going to work best for. Notice how this text is scaling dependent upon the height of the window. So I think we're going to need a little more granular control. There is some font thickness options available, and some I'm going to say font styling. Let's try and get something very clean here. Let's do Roboto. There, Roboto. Uh, Notice we don't have any direct separation between the verse and the verse reference and the actual content there, which is a little bit of a bummer. But I know in video you do want things large enough to be read. The font thickness goes all the way up to 5, so it looks like there'd be no difference between the actual text in the verse itself over here or the verse reference. I prefer to have the verse reference at the end and at about probably a quarter of the size, and I'd like those things to be fixed. Uh, Padding is already pretty hefty, and it looks like you can add more padding to it. Don't know if that's what we need, but this is where it's at, and it's there. We have the option to uh, turn off the animation, make the background transparent. So if you want to integrate it into your interface a little tighter, that's wonderful. I just think we need a little more granular font control, but that is how you add any of these new apps. They come in as layers. And it looks like we actually have the ability to just change the verses. Actually, rather than animating, it might be best if they fade it out and fade it in. That would be better than going letter by letter. But they've given us one option right now. Beggars can't be choosers at the moment. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these apps are um, open for development. I think there's an API for people who would like to develop their own apps. So if this is the best that evmux does, that's great. Hopefully the API makes it available for other people to develop maybe even more integrated apps. I would love to see one that actually maybe pulls from a different program altogether. Maybe brings in a Pro Presenter, or maybe brings in an output from a different Bible software, giving you the option to have whatever Bible versions. Because I know that when you deal with Bible verses, you deal with licensing issues. So they would have to have a license for every single version of the Bible if they had to have every version of the Bible. I don't think that evmux is probably going to do that. They're going to stay in the public domain arena, which I think limits them to maybe like 3 or 4 different versions of the Bible, which that's cool. But that was their big announcement today because they had been getting badgered for that feature. I think is the best way to put it. So yeah, and you can see the app interface here. If I stretch this out on the left, it has a little icon here. Here, let me transition over. Actually, I'm going to take it out of studio mode for myself. I find that if you're a one-man show, studio mode may not be best. Yeah, you can kind of see the app itself represented by these little 4 icons or 4 little boxes, cubes. That's their app icon, and we can turn that app off or on in the layer, or delete it altogether, remove it from the scene. In those layers, as far as apps, I mean, there's this is actually a very powerful tool. I'm really curious to see the first person who develops an app outside of evmux for this system. That would be amazing. So there's their whiteboard. Being a whiteboard guy, I'm going to be pretty picky about this. Looks like I can't scale that outside of double click to draw. Ooh, not sure. Transparent canvas. Let's see how this works. Sorry, just trying a new app here for the first time. Double click to draw. I don't see the drawing working. Although I can't see the user interface. The little buttons got super small. So let's bring this up full screen. So there is some innovation happening. That is for sure. As far as, man, those buttons are extremely small. Selection, hand. By default, it's on the hand tool. There's a rectangle, but you barely see that. I mean, I can barely see those. So even though evmux is adding bells and whistles, I would not say they are polished bells and whistles. And this is kind of part of the problem with evmux. Oh, look, we have something here. I don't know what that is. Not a great interface. Double click to draw. Is that the pen tool? Draw P or 7. Okay. Oh, there is a little black line there. That could be better. So, those tools really should be docked outside of that. They should be. I realize it's an overlay. Excel draw in new tab, discard and create new sheet. Can I change the color here? No. That's just the background color. Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. So not like I said, not trying to throw people under the bus. All these tools are in development. Some people are just more enthusiastic about releasing the tools as they are and continuing to roll out the updates to those tools. And I can appreciate that. This is much more of a kind of like an engineering mentality in that you iterate and you iterate and you iterate and you let people see the software, even if it's not perfect, and you continue to refine it. Other companies have the resources to develop their software and then release it in a very polished format before they ever field any kind of feedback. And really that's on a developer by developer basis. I know that those tools are I think they're a little more polished on the StreamYard side as far as their developers go. But they are playing catch up many times to evmux. So anyway, that's the evmux updates. There is now an app store. There are a lot of apps available. The quality of the apps, A bit of hit and miss. Okay, I don't think you can hold that against evmux as a platform, though. I think it gives them a completely different abstraction layer to keep adding features while keeping the stability of their platform where it needs to be, and that's actually a good approach. Um, as long as there is some oversight, I guess, on the type of products that get put into there, or maybe they can, like I said, I don't know what the API, if there is an API, or how they're opening this up for other developers, or if this is development that's only happening inside of evmux for the app layer. So it's kind of like yet another closed source option on top of another closed source option. Not sure how they're going to do that. I do know that they did open up for web sources. That I think is the most powerful feature. It's one of the features that before I knew about evmux was one of the things I was begging that StreamYard would do, would be to allow for web sources. I know that evmux now does that. I'm not sure. I don't think StreamYard does. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, please. But let's move on to like what's happening with Rumble. Um, so as far as Rumble updates go, um, they have been really transparent. It seems that they're highly communicative on Twitter, and they have interacted. I've interacted with Rick Rasek. I've actually joined him on a couple of his live streams, and had some feedback for their live stream platform. I have not had it myself yet. Let's take a look together. Let's go to Rumble and see if I can log in. Bring this in here. Give me half a second to log in. In the meantime, tell me if you're watching, where you're watching from, in the comments, so I get an idea of the kind of reach I'm getting, and so I can continue to improve that. I want to show you a bit about what's happening with Rumble. Let's see. I think I have my login here. Yep. Okay, we're logged in. So, as you can see, well, here, let me take my branding, take my logo off real quick for a second. I think that's an overlay. You can see here we're logged in. There's my icon. There's my account overview. Not making a lot right now on Rumble. We have 300 likes though. It's nice. There is content I've been importing over from my YouTube, and you can see the channels that you are developing in Rumble. So a lot of things I'm trying to figure out as far as let me hide that overlaying over myself. There's a lot of things I'm trying to figure out as to what the right way to structure having channels are. If you should have separate Rumble channels for separate um, uh, if you should have separate logins for separate channels. And it seems to me that Rumble is pushing people to try and put together all of these channels under a single user login. I think they're kind of discouraging. They're not making it impossible, that's for sure, but they are not making logging into multiple different accounts the way that YouTube has done this to do different channels. The prerequisite, they want you to have all these channels all under one user account, which I actually think there are benefits to. I want to talk with Rick a little bit further about that before I actually definitively advise one way or another. But some of the features that did get released on Rumble is playlists, as you can see here, which is actually really powerful. I think this is going to change the way that the growth is going to happen on Rumble. It was a sorely missed option, and the way that you add something to a playlist is actually pretty simple. If you happen to be watching a video anywhere on the platform, let's just say we're watching this one on pumping iron here, right? Um, I can hit the save button down here and add it directly to any one of these playlists. Now, if you notice, there is slash Sashton, which is at that channel. There's at Sashton, which is on my user account, and then there's like slash Seven Talents BTS behind the scenes. So if I have multiple channels, it's with one account that you literally bookmark things to channels. Man, that lower third is in my bottom right hand corner is really overpowering. But if I add that to let's say music videos, it's not what it is. We hit save, and let's go back to getting to our profile isn't there isn't like this literally you would think that there'd be an opportunity to get directly to my profile, and that does not do it. If I do watch later, I can then click on my name and then I'm back in my profile. And it's funny, my profile, here's some other caveats for you. My profile name and my channel name are the same, so I have 18 followers on my channel, and yet I have 10 followers on my profile. Or I'm sorry, 10 followers on my channel, 18 followers on my profile. And it's only on channels that you can, I think, drop your playlists. So obviously, Pumping Iron doesn't belong in music videos. If I open this up, I can then take something right here out of there and remove it from the music videos or save it to a different playlist. It's actually pretty cool. I think it's quickly going to become the I think it's actually going to be easier to manage than YouTube, but it's in very early stages. But playlists are here, and they are going to really change the face of Rumble, really change the organic reach of your content. Um, as far as the studio goes, the way that you find that out is once you're logged in, which we are, we're going to type in studio.rumble.com. And you can join the wait list right here. Enter your email to join the wait list, or you sign in, which we are already signed in, which is why I did that. Let's go ahead and do that. There we are. And we confirm. We don't know. I've been doing this every single I've been doing this every single like day and recording it, hopefully going to catch me getting confirmed into being able to use Rumble Studio. And it hasn't happened yet, but let's see if it does. Approve. Come on. Does not have access to Studio yet. So my account has not yet been approved for Studio Access. So Rick, it would be awesome to have that happen at some point. Still waiting to play around with the new tools that are available. So the new studio, this is a bit of a screenshot of what it does look like. Like I said, it looks very similar to StreamYard. But what's interesting is because Rumble is not just going after YouTube, they are going after the Twitch market. This is actually also going to be the de facto Twitch streaming platform. Not Twitch, but Rumble gaming streaming platform and tool, which I think is it puts them in a very interesting position. Looks like they do have support for locals here in their screenshot, which is awesome. I don't know how dynamic the redirects will happen. There's a lot I look forward to playing with, but another update that is happening. Let me pull it up real quick for you in hopefully in the next day, in the next hour or so. They will have the one thing keeping us from doing content on the regular on on Rumble, and that is the fact that anytime you go to do a live stream in Rumble, and if you've done this, you already know what a pain in the butt it is that you have to kind of request a reservation and get a RTMP destination that changes with each and every stream. That once that stream, once that RTMP reservation is used, it's not usable again. So if your stream goes bad and you need to restart your stream back up, you have to create a whole new stream key. You have to create a new RTMP destination. And from what I understand, it works like redirects. So it's I think that's how it's going to work for the statics, is that there will be a permanent key that you have, or a permanent destination, which that will be game changing. Um, Looking right now at Twitter to see if there's any updates to that effect. um, from Rick. Let's take a look. I am on Twitter here rather than subject you to all of my Twitter. You can take a look at what specifically I'm looking at through Rick. So Rick Rosella is the head of product for Rumble Video. And let's see, coming very soon, pre-rolls to help creators monetize. That's cool. Pre-roll advertisements are on their way. They only happen on web. After we implement them on our 8 app platforms, y'all will make more money, which would be great. Monetization on a different platform is going to be wonderful. Looking to see if there is any specific update on. I don't see it. I don't see it yet. I'll show you the latest post he put. But he says here on December 7th, which is yesterday, there will also be an update about the rollout of static stream key soon. Stay tuned. Comments on that. Rolling out this month. So in December, we will see that. And the moment that does happen, it looks like there's a lot of fanfare, a lot of people wanting it as soon as they possibly can get that is the game changer for the streaming industry, is to get static RTMP destinations for Rumble. So between playlists, they're also improving search capabilities within Rumble. Rumble is looking like they're really going to up their game in competing with YouTube. We already know that monetarily speaking, they're a lot more fair with creators. There's potentially more to be made, I believe, in the long term with Rumble than there ever has historically been available through YouTube. YouTube has been holding the lion's share back for themselves. So I look forward to seeing this paradigm shift. So good job, Rumble. As far as Twitter goes, there is news from Twitter, since I spend a lot of time on Twitter. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, please go ahead and follow me at Session, which is up on the screen right now. Or if you want to get a hold of me at my company and send something directly to our company, which we have a few people monitoring that is available at 7talents.com. Obviously, 7talents wasn't available, so I had to use something else. It's awful when that happens. And people, I don't even think the person that has 7talents is using that account. Don't you love when that happens? So send a message to us on X at those addresses if you would like to get a hold of us on Twitter. But if you type in the same thing, studio.twitter.com, and you have an account, you will see a whole new set of tools that you probably didn't know existed. Let's show you real quick. So there's the X Media Studio at studio.twitter.com, and you can upload media directly and then choose when to produce it. There's a producer view so that you can set up live streams and have RTMP source destinations that are Twitter directly. I believe this is a lot of what current content users are using, such as Tucker Carlson and others. This is how they're getting their show scheduled, updated, and live streamed, is through this studio. But there are rumors, um, that this is actually going to probably end up having its own studio interface as well, which will put them squarely on our table for conversation. I look forward to seeing what they come up with, figuring out those integrations. But one of the things that I should be doing, and I'm not, and we're at 50 minutes now, I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next 10, is that I'm currently only putting this out to YouTube and Facebook. This really should be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Rumble, Twitch, all of them. Multicasting to all. This is just something I felt like we needed to get out. I needed to kind of just jump into the water. And I encourage you to do the same thing, by the way. Don't let perfection get in the way of production. Um, Although I know that it's a little different for those who are in professional video production. We feel that there's only an option for perfection, because we live in an industry that is what we colloquially know as once and done. You only get one opportunity for a mistake, and after that mistake happens, you don't get to have any more mistakes. The client doesn't hire you back. So I know that has prevented me from getting things out here. Uh, I am going to dedicate to this, doing this at the very, very, very least, doing this weekly. At least an hour show, hour update. I'd love to be able to get on with you guys on the regular and help you with your issues. But for the last 10 minutes, let's take a little bit at what it would take to set up a live stream using Twitter and evmux. How's that? So let's go back to our Twitter studio here. In general, what you're going to want to do is, once you're logged in, you have to have an account with Twitter, obviously. You go into the producer section of the X Media Studio and would create a broadcast. Give it a name. Test. It's comedy because I don't have any planning into it. And source, create a new source. So, source name, RTMP. We're going to call this stream. We want to do, I'm in the Chicagoland area. Let's do US West Oregon. Looks like that might be the closest I can get. I don't even, personally, I'm not even sure I know what HLS sources are. That's in beta. I will have to look that up. I'm going to go with what I know, which is RTMP. Hit create. We now have an RTMP URL, destination URL, that I could copy. Here's a secure version of said URL as well, HTTPS. Let's copy that. Here's encoder settings for you to set your things up if you're using OBS. But since we would be using Streamlabs, not Streamlabs, I'm sorry, evmux. Let's launch into evmux. Let's go into Sashton. Let's go into our studio. Enter our studio. Let's set a destination. Broadcast channel. Add a new destination. We're going to go RTMP down here in the left-hand corner. Custom RTMP. I'm going to give it that URL that we copied there, which is the RTMPS. Rex. Let's grab that key now. Right there. Up into the key section. I don't think there's any authentication. We're going to go 1080p and hit save. Actually, we can rename this as X. Hit save. And for giggles, let's pull that up and go live right here on this scene. Now notice that's live on X. Let's hit start. Not done this doing two streams simultaneously before, but this will be interesting. Let's see if we can find it here. Let's go to Twitter and see if we see that stream. Oh, I hear myself. So that's it being received. Let me mute that. It's already being received at Twitter, which is awesome. We are doing some testing right now on Twitter. If you're watching this, we'll go ahead and hit the chat. No one will say everyone can chat. It's public. We'll turn on hearts. We're going to start immediately and hit create broadcast. So I don't know if that was actually live yet, but let's go to my account and see what's happening. Mute that again. So, broadcast name test, edit in live cut, and tweet. So I guess that still doesn't make it a post. We have a URL now. Doesn't look like it is currently on Twitter at the moment. Let me refresh that. No, it is not. Interesting. On our notifications, just nope. A lot of nope. Let's go ahead and hit the tweet. And tweeting. So now that goes live, and that's showing that it's live right now. So hello world. Now that I'm testing and demonstrating, I've actually tested this before. I just thought I would demonstrate how this works. Let's go ahead and refresh Twitter or X. I wonder how long it's going to take for us to stop using the word Twitter in describing this. And there it is. We are live using evmux going to X so that you can have one of those destinations. I'm not sure how the chat will come through or comments on Twitter. I don't have any viewers currently on Twitter, but it looks like it's working. So that's pretty interesting. I'll probably not promote that. We'll take this down. This is mainly for demonstration purposes. But in general, it looks like Twitter is going to be a contender as far as a destination. And I believe that I don't know if it was StreamYard or if it was evmux, but literally is going to have native Twitter sources as far as destinations are concerned. So go ahead and kill this stream on Twitter. Sorry for everybody who got their hopes up. We're going to go ahead and hit the end the broadcast. And we'll see over here as this stops on its own. And there it goes. So that's a viable live streaming location that you could be sending out from evmux or from StreamYard or from OBS. I think actually, now that I recall, let me tell you where that is. So first piece of news from Streamlabs is what we're actually going to report on here. Let me pull it up and show it to you. It's Streamlabs that has native X support coming very soon. So let me pull up that screenshot that I took of that little piece of news that I wanted to share with you guys. Where is it? Let's see. Eventually, I will get all these in their proper locations. There it is in all of its glory. That is not the right screen. Let's remove that. Let's share. Stop that screen share. Start a new screen share. Grab the whole window. There you go. So X integration is now in Streamlabs desktop. Now, it looks to me like that is not in reference to the Streamlabs. What do they call it here? They call it Talk Studio. I don't know if that's synonymous or if it's at the same time. It runs both. You know, I'm not sharing my full screen, and it should be sharing my full screen. Excuse me. There we go. Entire screen. Share. So I don't know if that's in their Streamlabs Talk Studio, if that's going to be in both, but they are listing X there as well. So if you download or you get a login and you get the desktop client, I'm going to go ahead and boy, what do you do? Let's log in with Twitter. I don't want to log in with YouTube on anything moving forward. It's crazy. We'll hit accept. Affiliate, got it. So here is the Streamlabs interface. First time, honestly, I'm logging into this since they've been purchased by Melon. Guests, Christian Sassim, enable your webcam and microphone by clicking allow. We're going to say allow. Next, ready-made theme. That's layovers from Melon. These ready-made themes, because it was more like I equated Melon to being like Canva and StreamYard having a baby. So this is their default stream interface. But let's take a look at destinations if we can. What is the Pro here? Oh, they're upselling the Pro, which is not a bad price, honestly. Destinations. How would I change destinations? Record, go live. Have not played with this. So you're watching me real time figure this out. 1080p, which is only on a Pro. Cloud recording, which is Pro. Local recording, which is Pro, I'm sure. Account settings, styles, video settings, apps, news. So we can go to dark mode, which I always prefer. Always. Name at the bottom is called lower third. But, first is at the top, it looks like. Account settings. Is that where I can change destinations? Broad destinations. Twitter. So Twitter is the destination since that's what I signed in with. So that's fascinating. Add destination. So Twitter being new. I'm not even familiar with Trovo, but we were going to have to add that to our board. Clipboard. Drop that right up here. And yeah, so I think if I go back to Studio and hit go live, let's see if it goes live on Twitter. Oh, I've joined twice. I don't know how that happened. Show on stream. Oh, I'm in the queue. Something weird happening there. They announced my name as I came in. I don't know if I'm a fan of that or not, but let's go ahead and hit go live on Twitter. Hit next. Testing again. That we will go ahead and wrap this up. Live. Using Streamlabs this time. Going live. Let's see how this goes. Hey, everybody. Out on Twitter again. I'm testing more software as a service, which is happening real time on Seven Talents YouTube channel. You can get to it by going to youtube.com/@7talentscom. And we are currently trying out Streamlabs OBS. It's actually their product that they purchased from Melon and have incorporated into their system. And it looks like that video is live currently on Twitter with no viewers, which is fantastic because it's not the highest quality production I've ever done. And I'm gonna go ahead and stop this right now. Actually, let's try. Ooh, try a couple little features here. Ah, ah. So dependent upon just how sus I am, we can zoom in. Uh, very, very interested in actually doing more testing on this platform, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the little end stream right here. Boom. And we should see that happen kind of real time here as well. So yeah, that stopped. That's beautiful. Let's go ahead and real quick, since I am on Twitter and I am sharing this, let's open this in a new tab, grab that link, copy it, and paste it right on the Twitter account. Which I didn't even announce or promote this on Twitter, which is well, I guess I did a little bit. It's there. Go to my profile, make a post, and we'll go ahead and share this link. Of course, you'll be watching it if you're watching this from the Twitter link. We'll have already ended it, which is kind of sad. But yeah, that is this user experience with Streamlabs. It does not look horrible. But I think we're going to spend an entire episode just going through Streamlabs. I probably want to spend an entire episode going through every single one of these platforms and kind of doing a bit of a walkthrough. I know that those are needed greatly. I don't know what that is there. But I look forward to kind of building up those options on our own anyway. And I'm actually broadcasting twice, which is not really good on my bandwidth. I still had evmux broadcasting from the Seven Talents account, broadcasting to Twitter, which was no longer actually live. I mean, it was live, I guess. So you can be sending an RTMP and choose at what point to trigger making that post live, and when you stop that post, it doesn't change your ability to continue sending a stream to the RTMP destination. Very interesting. So, that is generally what the status of, I think, the three top, maybe four top movers and shakers in software as a service streaming are in this industry. We covered some evmux. We covered Rumble and their new RTMP static options, a little bit of the playlists. We got to look at evmux new Bible app. How do you pull that up? How do you place that? Spent a little time talking about X and how they actually have a platform, but we're going to spend more time specifically actually in each one of these, uh, doing full walkthroughs, and then preferably taking that content and cutting that up into chapters so that you can learn along with us. I expect that content will be changing regularly, so we will have like a current how to, hopefully aging out features that become obsoleted. That's going to happen as this continues to progress, and the only way to keep up is to be doing this kind of full time, kind of constantly making content, kind of constantly testing and trying these things out in real time, demonstrating each of these tools, and then hopefully we'll get into demonstrating some hardware, talking about microphones, talk about lights, talking about cameras. Uh, we'll get into all of that, but like I said, in the very narrow and specific realm of live streaming via software as a service, not everybody's going to be running an ATEM. not everybody's going to have, $2,000 to spend on a camera. Um, and that's not the norm. I think most people that are starting out need to probably focus on their sound, need to focus on their lighting second and their camera third. But your first expense is probably going to be what platform you're streaming with and what platform you're streaming to. So um, it's a lot for some people to just say, okay, I'm going to spend the $10 to $20 a month to have StreamYard or to have evmux or to have one of these other tools. And that might be the limitation of your budget starting out, and that's fine. As long as your content is there, as long as people can hear you, and as long as you're consistent, it's a start. And we want to take you from your start, help you get to where you want to be, maybe even help you define or redefine what the finish line looks like, because this is an ongoing game that never ends. So the question is, what is it that you want to serve? Who is it that you want to serve? How do you want to um, communicate your message? What are the most effective tools available to you? I hope we get to be a part of your journey. I thank you for spending the time that you have spent with me. I will get more comfortable in this role. This is the worst podcast I will ever do. That means every single time that we do this, it gets a little bit better. Um, got a little bit of legs, a little bit of history behind me on this, but uh, this is the starting point. This is a starting point for us as a company, Seven Talents. I have Brian Gill joining me. My son will probably join me as well. Um, a few other people I have in mind that I'd like to bring alongside in this effort of uh, becoming the most trusted advisor and coaching in the live streaming space. And hopefully we become that for you. If there's anything you think that we need to do to improve, please let me know. Let me know in the comments. Send me an email. Uh, Send me a tweet at SASTIAN. Again, that is down below right there at the moment, right there. It's nothing super fancy yet. It'll get fancier later. We are live today, though, and I'm glad you spent some time with me. I know it's been a little long. Hope to see you on the next one. Hope to have a much more produced show on the next one. But uh, I encourage you, just start. We just started today. You can do it too. And if you need someone to come alongside, please reach out. We're looking forward to helping you out. Take care of yourself. Be good to everyone around you. God bless.